Hey bookworms! So I finished reading Requiem on the Saturday just gone, but I haven't had a chance to upload a review of it until today, which is what this video is going to be. As I've previously said, Requiem is the final instalment of a trilogy of books by Lauren Oliver, the first being Delirium and the second being Pandemonium, which I have already reviewed in a video, so I'll post a link to that in the description below, and if you haven't already seen it, be sure to check it out. So yeah, Requiem starts about a week after Pandemonium finishes, which I thought was kind of odd because obviously I waited quite a long time to read Requiem, so for there only to be a week in between storylines, it threw me off a little bit, but yeah, that's just something you guys didn't really need to know that, but yeah, basically it's split into two, sort of. It keeps flicking between Hannah's point of view and Lena's point of view. So the story is basically about Lena living in the wilds, joining the rebellion, kind of trying to get back to the city, moving on with Julian, trying to deal with the fact that Alex told her that he doesn't love her anymore, all that sort of stuff. And on Hannah's point of view, it's actually to do with how she deals with life after the cure, getting married to Fred, and kind of moving into this role of being the mayor's wife. So yeah, that's basically what the story is about. But what I thought I would also do in this video, rather than just saying what the story is about, I'm going to list the things that I disliked about the book and also things that I liked about the book. Before I do that, actually, I'm just going to say that my feelings about Requiem are incredibly mixed. I do like the book and the general storyline, but I kind of feel that it had the potential to be a lot better than it actually was. So I guess this is a good segue to move into why I disliked the book. Yeah, the first thing that I disliked about the book is actually that it started off really exciting, and then it kind of felt that it fell into a bit of a lull halfway through. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't still gripping, because it was, but it just wasn't as gripping as it had previously been. It wasn't enough to want to stop reading, but it did kind of take that little bit of extra effort to kind of stick with it. So that's just the first thing I didn't really like about it. The second is actually the fact that we kind of read Lena's point of view as like an internal battle between a love triangle between her and Alex, and I kind of feel that at times she was a bit insensitive to Julian and could be quite spiteful. Now, I understand that was kind of part of the story and part of her character, and I do sort of see where she's coming from and how she's feeling. However, at times I think it got a bit much. I just kind of wanted to grab her by the shoulders and just like tell her to get a grip. So, I don't know, it got a bit boring after a while to hear the same thing over and over again. So that was the second thing that I didn't like. The final thing I didn't like is actually the most important reason why I didn't like this book. But I can't really go into it too much, because if you haven't read the book, it will have some major spoilers for you. But regardless of whether you read the book or not, you may know that the ending is actually quite controversial. Even Lauren Oliver herself has admitted that she understands why people find it controversial. And I guess that's another reason why I don't like the book. I just kind of feel that there's so many questions that has been raised in not only this book but the trilogy as a whole that haven't really been answered. The ending kind of feels a bit abrupt, and this wouldn't be as much of a problem if there was another book coming out, but as it is the final instalment, I kind of feel that there's quite a lot of loose ends, and I have quite a lot of questions that I know I'm never going to get the answer to, because there's never going to be another book. So I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I don't like sort of not knowing. I don't like a trilogy ending without me knowing how everything finishes. But yeah, enough of the bad. I'm going to move on to reasons why I did like the book. But as I've previously said, it is a book where it changes between Hannah's point of view and Lena's point of view, which is actually quite similar to how Pandemonium is written, because in Pandemonium it switches between a then and a now. I actually really like this because it gives you a wider picture of the storyline, and it also kind of lets the reader know things that Lena wouldn't. So it kind of gives you the story from an invalid's point of view outside the walls in the wilds, but it also gives you the story from a person who has been cured and who lives inside the city. It also means that everything that Fred is doing, who is Hannah's pair and is the mayor, actually everything that he's doing the reader can find out about, even though it's something that Lena wouldn't know. So I thought that was really clever. The second thing is actually something I have previously said. I really like Lauren Oliver's writing style. I've said that before in about her first two books, but I will say it again about this one. Just I think the way she describes everything is really wonderful. Just the way she phrases things is really pleasant to read. It's not a chore, it's not boring. But yes, that's the second thing I liked. it kind of makes it sound like I don't like a lot about this book, because that is kind of my list of the things that I do like, but there is more that I do like. It's just kind of more general things, like I like the overall storyline, I like the development of the characters, so I do like more about this book. I just can't really put it into a specific list, so I don't want you thinking that because there's only 2 things on the list that there's only 2 things I like about this book, because that's not true. So yeah, that's pretty much the things that I disliked and liked about the book. If I had to give this book a rating out of 5, I think I would have given it a 4, but the last little bit of the book really did let it down a little bit, so I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. Can you give half stars? I don't know. I'm going to give it a 3.5. So I would still recommend you read it, because it ties up the trilogy more than if you don't read it. So if you read the first 2 books, you've really got nothing to lose. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.